Hey folks, Bob Reese here with the Guides Forecast, giving you a fishing report for Labor Day, Monday, September 2nd. The season has cruised by. Yeah, we're in September, and it's clear to me that the effort down here is not what it had been in years past. People just, I mentioned this before, they're tired of the regulation. Other options up the Columbia, Chinook fishing is good upriver. I'm sticking it out down here. It was a great day of fishing. Um, there was fish everywhere. I think everybody did real good today. We had started off, I kind of jostled off right to buoy 14 prematurely. I just didn't want to miss that low slack bite, and it was just humping too hard. So I came back up to fairly close to the Desdemona light marker, a little downstream. Put them out, and much to my surprise, we got 3 hatchery coho and lost a Chinook in no time flat. So that was cool, and then just kind of crept my way. Well, was blown to the north on the outgoing tide and stuck it out down there between marker 1 and buoy 11 and buoy 12, and didn't get to get close to buoy 10 there. As I was getting pushed back, the tide still changed quicker than I thought it would, and but man, it was a fun-filled day. There were bites all day long. We weren't getting bit down deep. Maybe an indication there aren't a lot of Chinook coming through on that last trickle of outgoing like there had been. Even yesterday was a little bit slower than the previous day. So, but today there was fish, a lot of fish everywhere. So the Desdemona light marker produced on the outgoing tide bite before it slowed down, and then again that lower river from marker 1 to 12 to 11 to 10 all produced really good bites on the last part of outgoing and first part of incoming. So no big surprise there. What has surprised me for 2 days running is sticking out at buoy 10 after we just got pushed back enough was enough, and I powered up to buoy 10 kind of as the first significant rip was coming through, and we're not getting bites on the rip like old times we've witnessed. But after the rip comes through, and I'm actually using my big motor, my 250 at idle to hold into the current, it's actually much more pleasant. Probably not good for my big motor, but to idle that long, but it's convenient. I get to steer by the steering wheel instead of the tiller handle. So, but bottom line is the tide's cranking in, and so are the fish. It was like me and one other boat at buoy 10, and yesterday we did the same thing. It's not typical to stay out at buoy 10 for that long, but with the fact that it's time for these fish to enter the river, and we have a strong enough tide, there's a lot of fish get vacuumed into the river. We were only getting bit maybe once every 15 or 20 minutes yesterday, but they were good fish. We only ended up with, I think, 7 yesterday. But today the bites were coming much more with much more frequency. I mean, we're getting bit every 5 to 10 minutes, and they weren't huge coho, but they were good coho. We did catch a couple Chinooks. It's mostly, like good old days of yesteryear, a buoy 10 fishing where you spent all tide out there, and fish came all tide, and that's exactly what happened today. So we ended up with 11, I think just 1 Chinook, and the rest were coho. But we had a hold of a couple nice Chinook, and one I had to try to hand line over the bow as we were being bared down upon by a large freighter vessel. So that made it exciting. But yeah, great day of fishing. I know we had 40 bites today. so that made for pretty happy people for all the action we had. There was a few fish at Hammond. I don't think it was a wide open bite. After coming back in, I also went out during max ebb, and we got one coho jack above the bridge on the Oregon side. So, but there were really fish everywhere. You know, it's been a good string of days here lately for people fishing early, people fishing late, and I had no problem getting a front row parking spot at the West End Basin today with my 7 o'clock start. So this place is going to empty out. I mean, it's empty now. I can't imagine how few people are going to be here for the next several days. So sorry I didn't get a report out for Sunday's fishing, but and hopefully this still helps somebody. But I'm going to be fishing down here pretty solo. There'll be a few other guides and certainly a few of the public, but it's going to empty out, and it's going to be a different scenario with the coho biting in the estuary this year. We haven't, I guess it might be too early to be making those predictions, but it sure is shaping up to be a different coho program this year than we've witnessed in previous couple of years. The coho last couple of years were just so far offshore. By the time they had decided it was time to make a run for the river, they just went in. By the time they got to the estuary from the tuna grounds where they were last couple of years, they just were in no mood to be fooling with us. So I don't think that's the case this year. I think we're going to have a productive coho season down here. I also think they underpredicted the coho run, like they underpredicted the sockeye run and underpredicted the summer steelhead run, and probably underpredicted the fall salmon run, since we're well above 10-year average and well above where we were last year at this time. So things are looking good. So I will also reiterate that my belief of fishing bait over the spinner chunk baits or the spin fish has yielded many more opportunities for me in recent couple of weeks. We're running out of fresh bait now. There's just not enough orders, so fresh bait's going to get a lot harder to get. I'm going to stow some away in the freezer and hopefully run more whole anchovies over the course of the next couple of weeks, but am to some degree going to get forced back to running spin fish and spinner chunk baits. I'm not that excited about that after, we miss a lot of fish on those baits, of course, but it ain't terrible getting 40 bites in a day. So going through 3 pounds of anchovies. So that is the report. We're supposed to have a kind of another cool day tomorrow, but then some hot weather coming up later this week. So that'll be interesting down here. And frankly, I got to throw my rain jacket in the dryer tonight. It ain't because of wind splash. So it's a dark and dreary Labor Day. Hopefully everybody had a fun and safe Labor Day weekend. And we'll keep the buoy